Ah, got it. Tissues are allowed. All right, let's begin. Have a seat up on the lift. If you want to sit on the floor, you can, but it's nice to have a little lift. It relaxes your inner groins more. And when your inner groins are released, you can lift your side ribs more. You want to cross your legs at the center of your shins with your feet beneath your knees. So you push your feet slightly forward and out towards the opposite sides to get that nice firm base. You'll start with just a noticing. And of course, if that really causes, depending on the height you have, that causes a real gripping in the inner thighs, a higher lift can help. Or, yes, you can take the feet a little further back. That may release the groins more. So find a sense of ease, whatever ease may be today, but some semblance of ease for you. And easy doesn't always mean, ease does not mean easy. But ease does demand a sense of observation connected to acceptance. So begin with the noticing and notice what you are noticing. Where does your mind go to first? Is it noticing thoughts? Is it noticing physical sensations? Pleasant ones, unpleasant ones? Anything else? So you can just rest your hands on your thighs with your upper arms in line with your side ribs. And then once we've had some moments to observe, once we've had some moments to accept, we can begin the process of taking action to make changes, to transform. And we start with the body. So finding that even balance of the sit bones. But as you do so, remember, the actions are the least important part of the process. The actions are necessary, but it is the observation after the actions which brings you to yoga, or gives you the possibility to experience yoga. So keeping that even balance of the sit bones, lengthening through the inner thigh. So from the inner thigh, upper inner thigh, through the inner knee, lengthen. And from the upper inner thighs, lengthen towards the lower abdomen. So that whole area from the inner knees to the lower abdomen is lengthening. Do this without leaning forward or back. Shoulders directly over the hips. Begin to release the flesh of the inner thighs down. So the inner thighs release from the front of the leg towards the back of the leg. So from the front quadricep towards the hamstring. And draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. And as you compact the hips together, doing so in such a way that you're not gripping the inner thighs. So you can't do either of those maxima. You can't just completely let go, because if you do, you won't be gripping the outer thighs, you won't be compacting the hips, and you can't completely grip and compact, or that experience will move towards the inner thighs. So can you use your brain differently and lengthen the inner thighs and compact the outer hips? And find a place where those experiences can take place simultaneously. And then notice the effects that that has on the abdominal area, on the torso, on the breath, on the thoughts. Now maintain that experience with the legs, lengthening through the side ribs. From your hips to your armpits, find a lengthening. Do this without pushing the front bottom ribs forward. You get more length when you draw the front bottom ribs towards the back body without leaning the shoulders back. Keep your chin parallel to the floor. Allow your ears to, allow your shoulders to move away from your ears, away from the sides of your neck, and lengthen from the inner armpits to the inner elbows. Sometimes we call that the groin of the arms. So just as we lengthen the groins of the legs, we lengthen the groins of the arms. Keep your elbows where they are. Take the palms together at your chest. Use the thumbs to gently lift the flesh of the chest upward without pushing the ribs forward again. Find a broadening both across the front body, the chest, but also across the top of the back body. Soften all of your facial features. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones and gaze at the seat of your heart, the seat of your soul. And let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together. Exhaling completely. Deep inhalation. Observe. Notice. And accept the current experience. Welcome whatever you are experiencing now to this moment, the here and now. Maintain the lift of the sternum, lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. Gently allow your eyelids to open. All right, let me just mute everybody, which I didn't do. If anyone in homeland has any questions, certainly you can unmute yourself and ask. All right, have your strap nearby. We'll start off lying back. If you're at the back wall, have your head that way. Okay? And everybody else can be any way you want. But I'm going to go that way too. So have the strap by your side. And start with your legs bent and your feet on the floor. And without doing a pelvic tilt, sometimes when we all tend to overdo things. So when we say take the flesh, you take your hands into your buttocks and scoop that flesh towards your buttocks, you're not doing a pelvic tilt. But you are lengthening, you're taking the top of the buttocks away from the lower back and laying your lower back on the floor. Now, as you straighten your legs, the lower back will rise up, but keep it descending. Don't expect it to remain connected to the floor, but keep it descending. Don't allow it to get the largest arch possible. So drag your right heel on the floor, straighten your right leg. Drag your left heel on the floor, straighten your left leg. Press the thigh bones down. The heels have to press down as well. If the heels come up, it means you're pressing your knees down. So press the center heels down. Feet are together now. So heels together, toes together. And if they don't go together, of course, that's fine. But press the heels down and then press the thigh bones down. Now, interlock your thumbs together and extend your arms overhead. And Himani, you might need to move that stuff out of the way so you have some space there. Not the fingers, the thumbs. And if you're close to a wall, then just scoot yourself a little bit away. So those who are on the side wall there, just scoot yourself a little bit away from it so the arms can be straight. You want straight arms here. So notice how when you extended the arms overhead, your bottom ribs move towards the ceiling. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body, towards the floor. Now press your thighs down and extend through the inner leg, from the inner thighs, through the inner knees, through the inner heels. And at the same time, draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. Now that inner leg does also extend in both directions. So you're extending out through the leg. The inner leg gets longer as time goes on, but you're also extending from the tops of the thighs back towards the lower abdomen. Now maintain this work of the legs and lengthen through the side ribs, from the hips through to the armpits, through the waist, through each of the sets of side ribs. And then open those armpits and extend, armpit to elbow, elbow to wrist, right through the fingertips. And as you extend through the fingertips, draw from your outer elbows to your shoulders. So just as you extend the inner legs, extend the inner arms, draw the outer knees to the outer hips, draw the outer elbows to the outer shoulders. Create more space. Watch those ribs coming up. And release and relax. Take your arms up by your sides, let your legs go, palms up. Breathe into your shoulders, breathe into your hips. Soft hands, soft feet, let everything go. Breathe into your shoulders and breathe into your hips. This pose releases deep-seated emotions, deep-seated fatigue that we hold in our hips, we hold in our shoulders. So we want to replace that with prana, life force. Breathe into your shoulders, breathe into your hips. And then interlock your thumbs the opposite way overhead. Take your feet together, heels together, toes straight up at the ceiling. Take the little toes back towards you so that the bottoms of your feet are in one straight line, parallel to the wall that your feet are facing. Now again, descend the lower back. It's not going flat, but descend the lower back. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Ensure that the heels remain pressing down. Then turn the thighs in and press the thigh bones down. The bone itself, think of the bone itself moving from the front of the leg towards the back of the leg. And keep the thigh bones pressing down. Lengthen through the inner legs, the inner thighs, through the inner knees, through the inner heels. Also from the upper inner thighs, drawing back towards the lower abdomen. Like still extending through the heels. The flesh of the inner thighs descending and drawing from your outer knees to your outer hips. Compact the hips together. So again, the inner leg, just as when we were sitting, although this is a little bit more active, but just as when we were sitting, the inner leg lengthening, the outer leg contracting, maintaining that, extending through the side ribs. And it's not just one push, extend, and then you're done. Can you extend more and more as time goes on? So slow and steady. And then open the armpits, extend, armpit to elbow, elbow to wrist, right through the fingertips. And release and relax. Arms up by your sides, palms are up. So for those who are at home, the electricity seems to be going off and on here. It's a laptop, so there's a battery there, and I don't really know. We have a power supply to the internet backup, but if we lose you, that's why, and we'll do our best to get back on if electricity stays off and goes on. Everyone else here, breathe in. Everyone breathe into your shoulders, breathe into your hips. Breathe into your shoulders, breathe into your hips. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor. Take hold of your strap. Bend your right leg into your chest. Put the strap around your foot where the heel meets the arch and straighten your right leg. So left leg is bent for a moment, right leg is straight. Turn the right thigh in so that the kneecaps point straight forward. No death grips on the strap. So it's a gentle hold of the strap. You can reach up with your arms, but just hold it with your first two fingers and thumb so that you're not squeezing for dear life. Press the thigh bone back. Keep the heel above the hip and press the thigh bone back. Again, the front of the bone itself is moving from the front of the leg towards the back of the leg. Take the outer hip away from your shoulder so the two sides of your torso are equal in length. When you take the outer hip away, sometimes the thigh turns out. So then you have to turn the thigh back in, push the thigh back, push the hip back. Now lengthen through the inner leg, from the inner thigh, through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, and push through the ball of the big toe. The ball of the big toe is slightly higher than the heel. Broaden across the foot, make your foot wider. And then the energy comes back around, draw from your outer knee to your outer hip. Sit your right buttock down. The femur bone moves into the hip socket. Sit your right buttock down as you extend through the inner right leg more. Of course, that flesh of the inner thigh also moving back now. Soft hands, soft shoulders, soft face. And then switch legs. So left leg up, right leg bent. No death grips. Just holding with your first two fingers and thumb. Soften your shoulders. Soften your face. Turn the thigh in so the kneecap points forward. Press the thigh bone back. Press the thigh bone back. It is a straight leg, if that's accessible to you. Lengthen from the inner thigh and the outer hip too. So as the thigh goes back, take the outer hip away, the left outer hip, so the two sides of your torso are equal in length. Lengthen from the inner thigh, through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, push through the ball of the big toe. The ball of the big toe is the peak of the pose. Don't push through the big toe itself. It's the ball of the big toe. Then broaden across the foot, broaden from the ball of the big toe to the ball of the little toe. And then draw from your outer knee to outer hip. Sit that left buttock down as you extend the inner leg more. Soft hands, soft face, soft shoulders. Switch legs. Turn the right thigh in so the kneecap points forward. Press the thigh bone back, going a little faster. Take the outer hip away from the shoulders. Hopefully there's some memory there. Hopefully some of this is already happening, especially those that have been practicing regularly. Press the thigh bone back. Take the outer hip back. Lengthen the inner thigh from the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner ankle. Push through the ball of the big toe. But also from the upper inner thigh back towards the abdomen. The flesh of the inner thigh moving back. Draw from your outer knee to your outer hip. Now take your left leg. If your right leg is bent, don't worry about straightening the left leg. Just keep it as it is. But if the right leg is straight, take your left leg, straighten it above the mat, 2-3 inches, just 2-3 inches above the mat. Turn your left thigh in, and then from the center of your thigh, not just the foot, from the center of your thigh, place your leg down. And it's a different, I mean, you can try it both ways. Place your foot down and place the leg down from the thigh. It's a different experience. Turn both thighs in, press both thighs back. So left thigh down, right thigh back. Lengthen the inner thighs. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. Then I remember, we were working on this the other day. As you compact the hips together, can you take the tops of the thighs, the tops of the groins away from each other? And again, noticing how these actions, the actions are necessary, but they're the least important. Notice how these actions, the effects of these actions, Observe the effects of the actions that you take. Prashant and because Iyengar's son has been talking about this a lot. We're focusing too much on actions and not enough on the effects. We have to begin to move our awareness to the effects. Then your legs, switch legs. Left leg up. Start with your right leg bent. Those in the okay, yeah, that's fine. Never mind. Turn your left thigh in. Press the left thigh bone back. Take the left hip back. Extend through the inner thigh, through the inner knee, the inner ankle, through the ball of the big toe. Draw from the top of the thigh back towards the abdomen. Broaden across the foot. Draw from your outer knee to your outer hip. Now maintain that awareness of the left leg. Don't let it change. Straighten your right leg above the mat, just 2-3 inches. Then turn your right thigh in, and from the center of your thigh, place your leg down. Don't let the left foot move away from your face or the left hip move towards your shoulder, right? So I saw a bunch of left hips move towards the shoulder as you straighten your right leg. Take the left outer hip away from your shoulder. Press both thighs back. Lengthen both inner legs. Draw your outer knees to your outer hips. And release. Bend both legs. Release the strap for a second. We're not done. I'm just, even though I said no death grips, I'm seeing some death grips. So I'm just giving your hands a break for a second. Wiggle your fingers. And then back up. Right leg up. Left leg bent. So right leg up, left leg bent. Thigh bone back. Straighten the leg. Press the thigh bone back. Lengthen the inner thigh. Take the outer hip away from your shoulder. Press the thigh back. Lengthen the inner leg. Draw from the outer knee to the outer hip. Everything we've been doing. Use the memory that you're creating. The inner leg lengthens in both directions. So out through the ball of the big toe, back towards the abdomen. Soften your shoulders. Take the left leg, straighten it above the mat, 2-3 inches above the mat. Turn the left thigh in from the center of the left thigh. Place the leg down. Don't let that right hip come towards your shoulder, or if it does, move it back away. Turn both thighs in. Press both thighs back. Extend both inner legs. Draw the outer knees to the outer hips. Supta Panagustasana 1. Now we're moving to Supta Panagustasana 2. Reach up high on the strap with your right hand. Take your left hand onto your left thigh. Push with your left hand, press your thigh, hip, press it all down. You don't want it to come up. The head is still back. Lie back. Head still back. Now pull your leg towards you and out to the side. So towards you and out to the side. So it's a 45-degree angle. Reach up with your hand. Make your arm reach up as close as you can to that foot. Oh, there's that left thigh popping up, huh? So press that left thigh down. Turn your abdomen from the right to the left. Take your abdomen from the right towards the left. Press the left thigh down, the left hip down. Now lengthen through both inner legs and draw from your outer knees to outer hips. Jimena, see if you can reach out with your arm. Because the final pose is you're holding your big toe. You don't have to hold the big toe today, but that's eventually that's where you're going. So you want to reach out with your arm. Now with a straight leg, inhale, take that leg back up. Back to Supta Panagustasana 1, hold both sides of the strap. And then hold the strap in your left hand. Take your right hand onto your thigh, the front of your thigh, where your thigh meets your hip. Not near your knee. Get away from your knee. So move the hand towards your thigh. Push the thigh bone back and take your right leg over to the left. Supta Panagustasana 3. Just a little bit. You don't have to go far. You don't have to go far. We're not going onto our side. There are different, yeah, there's the version you go all the way onto your side. but just go to the edge of of sensation. If you begin to feel the outer hip opening up, or sometimes you'll feel it on the outer leg or the outer knee, that's as far as you go. If you go into more pain, then you just want to come out of the pose more quickly. You don't actually release any faster. Just go to the edge of sensation. And you'll notice when the hip opens, you'll feel it in another part of your leg. And then when that opens, it may go back to the hip, and it goes back and forth, depending which part of your leg has the tightness at the moment. And then inhale, take your leg back up to center. And switch legs. So those at the back wall, well, Leanne, I guess you can stay where you are, but Jimena and Ramona, I would turn around now so that the wall's not in your way. Little adjustments we make for our pandemic world. So left leg up, right leg bent. Press the thigh back. Lengthen from the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, push through the ball of the big toe. Draw from the outer knee to the outer hip, move that outer hip away as well. So the thigh presses back, the hip presses back, two sides of your torso equal in length. Now maintain that, take the right leg, straighten it above the mat, turn the thigh in, from the center of the thigh, place the leg down. Both thighs turn in. So two straight legs, both thighs turn in, both thighs press back. Lengthen the inner thighs in both directions. So out through the feet, but then also drawing back towards the abdomen. Compact the hips, outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. Soften the shoulders, please. Soften the face, please. Pretty please. I'd say with sugar on top, but sugar's not even good for you anymore. Who added that to that whole thing? All right, now reach up high with your left hand. Right hand on your right hip or your right thigh. Press down so it doesn't come up. And then take that left leg towards your face and out to the side, not just out to the side. So it's a 45-degree angle, and you can adjust your arm so it gets closer to your foot. Reach up, reach out. The other way, Karen, other way. We'll get there. We'll get there. Right, allow the groins to open. So lengthen in the inner thighs in both directions. Still pressing the thigh back, especially that left thigh, that left hip moving back. Relax your shoulders, soft face. Take your abdomen from the left to the right. The abdomen moves from the left to the right to help keep that right hip down. And then with a straight leg, inhale, come up. Supta Panagustasana 1, press both thighs back, lengthen the inner legs. And then Supta Panagustasana 3. So reach up high with your right hand now. Left hand on your left thigh, close to the hip, not near the knee. Press it back. Press the thigh, hip back. And then don't let your foot move away from your face. But take your left leg now over towards the right side. And for some of us, it's just, an inch that we have to go, and then we feel it. Of course, some people are more open, and that's fine. But don't fight with your body. Don't fight with the pose. Just allow that outer leg to open, outer hip, outer leg to open. Go to the edge of sensation. Soft face, soft hands. Imagine this is your favorite pose in the whole world. And with straight leg, inhale, come up, Supta Panagustasana 1. Take both legs in the strap next to each other. Relax your hands. Press your thighs back. Heels directly above your hips here. Don't take your feet closer to your face in this pose. Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, 90 degrees. Iron your abdomen towards the spine. Iron your lower back towards the floor. Soft hands, soft hands. And then if you're able to keep your legs up without the strap, you can keep the strap if you want. Nothing wrong with that. Otherwise, just release the strap. You can leave it where it is. Extend your arms overhead. Extend through the legs, extend through the arms. Abdomen down, lower back down. Jimena, take your feet a little further away from your face. There you go. That's 90 degrees. It's an optical illusion sometimes. It's hard to tell where our legs are in this pose. Abdomen down, lower back down. Extend through the legs, extend through the arms. And then bend your legs into your chest. The strap will fall. It's fine. Strain your legs on the floor. Release and relax. Let your arms go. Let your legs go. Breathe into your shoulders. Breathe into your hips. And then bend your legs. Roll to the right. And come up. Come up onto your hands and knees. Take your shoulders over your wrists, knees slightly behind your hips. Rotate the forearm in. Rotate from the outer wrist towards the inner wrist and press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb. Now maintain that. Don't let the forearm roll out, and don't let the weight move to the outer hand, but roll the upper arm out. The forearm rotates in, the upper arm rotates out. Of course, that means neither can be fully maximum, right? So you have to find that place where they both cooperate. First finger pointing forward. First finger pointing forward. Push into the floor to lengthen through the inner arms. Lift your chest up off of your wrists. Turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Now start here. Press the thighs back. Lengthen the groins here. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips here. Push into the floor again. Inhale, come into downward facing dog. Take your thighs back. Exhale, take your thighs back. Take your chest towards your thighs. Take your sit bones towards the ceiling. Turn your thighs and press your thighs back. Karen, I would take the feet a little further apart. Press the thighs back. Don't drop your ribs. Take your front bottom ribs towards the back body. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. That's it, Jimena. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Now press down to the ball of the first finger and thumb. The forearms rotate in, upper arms rotate out. Lengthen through the inner arms, armpits, and side ribs. Now legs, press those thighs back. All the work we've been doing has prepared us for this. Lengthen the inner groins from the inner knees through to the lower abdomen. The flesh of the inner thighs moving back. Draw from your outer knees to your outer hips. And as those hips go up, extend from the center of your calf down through the tendon, through the heel towards the floor. If you can see your heels, take your heels away from each other. Your heels are hidden behind your toes. Bend your legs, come down, touch your knees onto the floor, precisely the same moment. If you were using blocks of the chair, then you can walk into Tadasana. But then come back down onto your hands and or if you're using the chair, or stairs, and if some of you are using stairs at home, then you take your hands back onto your chair or your stairs. Press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Push into the floor. Turn your toes under. Straighten your legs. Inhale. Lengthen through the arms. Exhale. Come into downward facing dog. Thighs back. The forearms rotate in. Upper arm rotates out. Push into the floor to put more weight onto your heels. Lengthen through the inner thighs. Through the inner arms. Excuse me. Lengthen through the inner thighs too, but through the inner arms, through the armpits, and through the side ribs. Now take your abdomen, roll it into your tailbone, and press your thighs back as if the thighs, watch those front ribs, take the front ribs towards the back body. Really take the front ribs towards the back body. The back bend in this pose is a forward bend. The upper back is more of a back bend. The lower back is more of a forward bend. So take your abdomen, roll it into your tailbone, and press your thighs back. And again, as you press your thighs back, lengthen the inner groins, the flesh of the inner thighs going back. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. And as you're lifting the hips, extend from the center of the calf, through the tendon, through the heel towards the floor. Let your head go. And now the most important part of the pose. Observe. Observe. Look up, walk your feet forward. Sweep your arms back. Take your torso parallel to the floor. Take your hands slightly above your hips. Move your arms back. So from your shoulders, extend your arms back. Extend the chest forward. Keep the thighs pressing back. So keep those actions. So the thighs back, the arms back, and the chest forward as you come up. Maintain them as you come up. Don't lose them. Don't round the back to come up. And the chest forward as you come up, and then turn to face the front to Tadasana. Feet together. If you prefer, feet hip distance apart, that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. But choose what you're doing. Don't have your feet in a random place. Pick feet together. Pick feet hip distance apart. But pick mindfully, knowingly. You know why you're picking it. Press the thigh bones back. Lengthen from the inner thighs up towards the lower abdomen. That whole inner leg lengthening. Outer knees to outer hips. Compact the hips together. Take the flesh of the inner thighs back. Now again, these front bottom ribs tend to push forward. So take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Lengthen up through the side ribs. Move your shoulders down and extend through your arms. Chin parallel to the floor, soft face. Tadasana. Are you balanced evenly on the feet? Keep the arms out to the side, drop the shoulders down. From the armpits, rotate the arms up. Notice the ribs are trying to come forward when you do that. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Keep the thighs pressing back. Now from your armpits, not from your shoulders, from your armpits, push the arms up. Don't have them come forward in the room. They stay in line with your ears. Drop the shoulders down. Straight arms. Thighs back. Top of the buttocks down. Front ribs back. Lengthen through the arms, take the shoulders down. Chin parallel to the floor. Open those armpits. Turn your arms out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Tadasana. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Take your fingertips up by your chest. Bend your legs. Jump or step your feet wide. And it's always fine to step, right? It's your body. It's your knees, your spine, your neck, shoulders. Take your feet below your hands as your arms are extended. So it's a wide pose. Feet start facing forward, toes forward. Are you balanced evenly on the 2 feet? Press your thighs back. Carla, wider if you're able to, if it's accessible, okay? Obviously, always listen to your body first. Drop the shoulders. So thighs back, lengthen through the side ribs, front bottom ribs back. Extend the arms. Turn your left foot and turn your right leg out. Take your front heel in line with your back arch. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh out and lift both outer knees to outer hips. Compact those hips together. Keep pressing the back heel. Inhale, exhale. Take that right hand down. Take the left arm up. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Turn that front thigh out. Lift both outer knees to outer hips. Extend those arms away from each other. And then reach that left arm and pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet over to the other side. Right foot and left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift your outer knees to outer hips. Compact those hips together. Pressing the back heel. Reach through that back arm as you come down. Reach through the back arm, then come down. Take your hand on your shin. Eventually, the hand is on the floor on the outside of your leg. But don't just collapse the chest to do that. That's just so you know where we're going. Press the back heel, turn the front thigh out, lift the outer knees to the outer hip. See if you can take the back toes in slightly, Jimena. Am I saying your name right? Rotate the torso. Extend those arms away from each other. Then reach through that top arm and pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet, jump or step your feet together. So here's what I'm seeing in the room. Everybody at home, you can decide whether this is similar for you. So I'm seeing one of two things, and both are common. So either that front thigh falls forward, right? And many of you heard take the thigh back. But some of you who are doing that aren't taking the thigh back, but you're jamming back in the knee. And I wish I could show you, but I've demonstrated that too much, and I don't demonstrate it anymore because it started hurting my knee just demonstrating it to you, okay? So you want to press the outer rim of the back heel. If you take your back thigh back, you can press into that back heel, but here's the thing. If you take your knee back, you can do it also, except you're overextending the flexibility of the knee. You're doing that, okay? Not the only one. So everybody, jump or step your feet apart. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. And before adjusting anything, just notice where you are. My thigh's far. I've been doing this for 20 years. And if I take my feet apart without really paying attention, this thigh falls forward, okay? You can take your hands on your hips. So take your hand on the thigh, okay? And I don't want you to move your knee. Your knee will move because it's connected to the leg. The whole leg's going to move. But I don't want you to think, and it's not really the knee, it's your shin bone that you're moving back. Don't move your shin bone back. Let the shin bone follow the thigh bone. Take your hand on the thigh and press the thigh bone back. And you shouldn't feel a change of experience in the knee area. If you are, you're pressing your shin bone back. You can, if you're doing that, take your shin bone forward, right? So I've taught this in Tadasana for those that have heard that. You take the thigh bone back and the shin bone forward. So if you're really taking it in the knee, then you take your shin bone forward, okay? So take that thigh back. The thigh goes so far back that you can't grip your toes even if you try. Because when the thigh comes forward, we tend to grip the toes, right? Everyone, let your thigh go forward. You feel the toes gripping a little bit more, and then we want to because it gives us security, gripping the toes. So hand on the thigh, take the thigh back, and it goes so far back that you try and grip, and you shouldn't be able to. Then press from the hip into the heel. Now there is the opposite action from the outer knee to the outer hip. It's a two-way street there, from the hip to the heel, and back up, outer knee to outer hip. Now here's the deal, when we pay so much attention to that back leg, the front thigh turns in because we're ignoring it. So turn the front thigh out without letting the back thigh come forward. Oh, now the hip's opening. Anybody feel that in the hip, or is it just me? Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Now extend the arms. Inhale, exhale, take your hand out. Now take your left hand on your hip. Because just coming down, we tend to lose everything we created. Left hand on your hip. So once again, don't just take the shin bone back. Be careful for that back knee, Janine. Take the thigh back. Take the thigh back and back thigh, the left thigh, and from your hip, press into the heel. And then also, yes, lift from the outer knee to the outer hip. Can you have that two experiences in the back leg? So you're down now. Turn the front thigh out. Turn the front thigh out without if you felt your back thigh go forward when you turn your front thigh out, make sure that back thigh goes back as the front thigh goes out. And then lift both outer knees to outer hips. Now, when I do that, the torso begins to turn automatically. You can feel it. But lean back against your imaginary wall. Take your head back against the imaginary wall. And then extend your arm up. Observe your pose. And you decide if this is different, if it feels More pleasant, less pleasant, you can decide. You can make your own reality, your own truth. Reach through the top arm, pull yourself up and out. Resist with the bottom arm. Parallel your feet, hands on hips. The words make sense? Right foot in, left leg out. So again, before you adjust, notice, did you throw your back thigh forward? And it's not that your hips are going to square in this pose, they aren't. But at the same time, you want to throw that thigh hip forward. So take your hand on your thigh. Don't push the shin bone back. Don't push the shin bone back, but take the thigh back. The shin goes with it because it's connected. But can you do it from the hip? And then from the hip, press into that outer rim of the back heel, what BKS Iyengar calls the brain of the pose. It'll be easier with wider feet humana. From that hip, press into the back heel, and then draw from the outer knee to the outer hip, so it goes in both directions. Now keep it back. So keep that left hand on the hip, but turn the front thigh out, and notice how the back hip wants to come forward and resist it. So the back thigh goes back as the front thigh goes out, and then lift the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. Now extend the arms. Reach with the back arm. Exhale, come down. Right hand on your hip. And maybe you maintained everything, right hand on your hip. If you maintain everything, then great. But most of us, when we come down, we lose something. So again, hand is on your hip. Take that right thigh back. Take that right thigh back. Press the heel. Draw from the outer knee to the outer hip. Keep the thigh going back as you turn the front thigh out. Knee in line with the top of your foot. Lift both outer knees to outer hips. And then lean back. For some of you, you saw it. As soon as you do that, I witnessed it. The torsos began to turn because that work of the legs turns the torso. Lean back. Let your head go back. Head back, Carla. And then extend the arm up. Observe your pose. Is there pain, Sean, or? Just wearing out. Just wearing it? Good. Okay, yeah, you come out if you need to. Just making sure. Yeah, these poses can be a journey. Pull with your top arm. Pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Don't step your feet together. Tadasana. So thighs back. So those that have a tendency to push their shins back, you can work on it in this pose. Take your shins forward. And everybody can do it. Take your shin bones forward. But press your thigh bones back at the same time. When taking shin bones forward doesn't mean bend the legs. Don't bend your legs. Straight legs. So shin bones forward, thighs back. Shin bones forward, thighs back. And those that are hearing it for the first time, I know it doesn't make any sense. I am well aware. Do it anyway. It'll make sense in 3 months if you do it regularly. Shin bones forward, thighs back. And feel how that action reflects into the hips. It changes how the other muscles are working. So then lift from the outer knee to the outer hip, compact the hips together, lengthen the groins. Front ribs back, extend through the arms. Take your arms out to the sides, drop the shoulders, rotate the arms up. Keep the awareness on the legs. We'll work in the arms, but can you keep some awareness on the legs? Spread the awareness. Shin bones forward, thighs back, and from the armpits, extend the arms up. So it's not that you're just doing legs or you're just doing arms, but eventually you want the whole body to be a part of your poses. Because Iyengar would say, spread the intelligence through each and every cell of your body. Allow yourself to breathe. You don't have to breathe. The breath will breathe you. You just have to stop holding your breath. Turn your arms out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Tadasana. Breathe. And take a couple blocks, one on either side of your mat. If you just have one block, then take it on one side of your mat. At home, you can use books or whatever you got. Fingertips up. Bend your legs, jump or step your feet wide. Take your hands on your hips. Turn your left foot and turn your right leg out, because we're going into Utthita Parshva Konasana, but the same thing happens, right? So you have to take that back thigh back, not the knee. So you can work that. We just did shin bone forward, thigh back. So for those that feel like you're still pressing the shin, even though your leg is at an angle, not vertical, can you still take the shin bone forward and press the thigh back so far back that you can't grip the toes anymore? And at the same time, turn the front thigh out. Now maintain that. So keep that thigh pressing back as you bend that front leg. The front leg is a 90-degree angle with the knee over the ankle. And then extend the arms and take your hand onto the block. Take your left hand back onto your hip. Take that left thigh back. As you take the left thigh back, not the knee, not the shin bone, but the thigh, the shin just follows. Take the right ribs with you. That'll help rotate the torso. And for some of you, you'll even feel your head go back. If not, take the head back slightly. Now don't let the knee come forward. Keep the knee in line with your hip. Now extend the arm up, rotate it, press the back heel, and extend over your ear. Utthita Parshva Konasana, extended side angle pose. Sit into it a little bit more, Carla. It'll actually be easier. Bend your front leg a little bit more. It'll actually be a little easier. Once you get used to it, it'll be easier. It puts a lot of pressure when you're just a little bit bent. A little bent. I'll learn English eventually. You have to help me with my English. Reach through the arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Hands on hips, other side, right foot and left leg out. So again, observe, is your thigh still going forward? Mine is. I've only been doing this 20 years. It does. Take the thigh back. Press the heel. Turn the front thigh out at the same time. You also feel this opening in the pelvic area when you do that. Right? So the back thigh goes back, the front thigh goes out, lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Now, can you keep that back thigh going back and bend the front leg? Keep that back thigh going back as you bend that front leg. Knee over the ankle, thigh parallel to the floor. Don't let your knee go past your ankle, Jimena. It puts too much pressure on the knee. And then extend the arms. Reach for that back arm. Exhale, come down. Hand on the block. The block goes right next to your heel. And then take your hand on your hip. So again, can you take that right thigh back? And as you do, take the right ribs back with them. Keep the knee front knee in line with the hip. The torso leans back, the head goes back, and then extend the arm up. Rotate, press that back heel, extend over your arm, or over your ear, excuse me. Make a nice straight line. Keep that right thigh going back. Keep leaning back. And then reach through the arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. If you breathe in the pose, you are less likely to sigh coming out of the pose. It's okay if you sigh, no big deal. But I'm just saying, it's helpful to breathe in the poses. Fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step. Hands on hips. Left foot in, right leg out. Take this back thigh back. Turn the front thigh out. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Now maintain that, bend the front leg. Again, this back thigh goes back. Now this front hip comes forward. So take the back thigh back and take the front hip forward. There are two Karens, but Karen and Paris, obviously you have to be careful. If you have replacement hips, you have to be more cautious in this. Okay, they work differently. Now extend the arms, inhale, exhale, hand down, left hand on hip. So again, take that right thigh back and let the right ribs, left thigh back, let the left ribs follow.
Now take the right hip forward and let the right ribs follow. So the legs are actually what's moving the torso. Now maintain that, lean back. See that you're not just shoving your front bottom ribs forward. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body, lean back, extend the arm up, rotate the arm so the palm faces your ear. Now take that back thigh, left thigh back, press the heel. As you press the heel, extend your arm overhead. Observe your pose. Find peacefulness in the pose. I'm not saying there's not work, there is. But there's also peacefulness. Can you find your peacefulness in this pose? Reach through the arm, pull yourself up and out. Good. Parallel your feet over to the other side. Hands on hips, right foot and left leg out. Take the back thigh back. Turn the front thigh out. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Now keep that right thigh going back. If you have to take the shin bone forward, it's shin bone forward, thigh back. That's it, Janine. Right, do you feel the difference there? So thigh back, press the heel, outer knees to outer hips. Now maintain the thigh back as you bend that front leg. But as you bend that front leg, that front hip tends to go towards the back of the room. So can you take the back thigh back and the front hip forward, opening that pelvic area? Take the back thigh back and the front hip forward. Now maintain that, extend the arms, inhale, exhale, hand on the block, block goes next to the heel, right hand on your hip, and then repeat, back thigh back, pressing into the back heel, front hip forward, back thigh back, front hip forward. As the back thigh goes back, take the ribs with it. As the front hip goes forward, take the ribs with it. That turns the torso. Lean back, let the head go back. Now extend the arm up, take the back thigh back, press the heel, and then rotate the arm. As you press the heel, extend the arm over your ear. Lean back. Observe your pose. Stay in the state of observation as you reach through the arm and pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Take the blocks off of your mat. Turn to face this side so you're standing towards the front short side of the mat. Feet hip distance apart. Extend the arms forward, arms up. Keep the thighs back. Hold your elbows. Inhale, exhale, come forward. Uttanasana, forward bend. Lengthen through the groins, outer knees to outer hips. Flesh of the inner thighs moving back. And let your arms go, hands on the floor. Walk your feet back. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Turn your thighs and press your thighs back. Yeah, take a chair, take blocks as is needed. Or stairs. Press your thighs back. Rotate the forearms in, rotate the upper arms out. Press the thighs back. Take your abdomen, roll it into your tailbone, press your thighs back even more. As you lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, extend from the center of the calf, through the tendon, through the heel, towards the floor. Don't just jam those shin bones back. And if you have a chair or stairs, look up, walk forward. Otherwise, bend your legs, let your feet hit the floor precisely the same moment. All right, so as long as we're kind of on this, I'll throw in one more thing. Because a lot of people jam the knees back, press the tops of the shin back. If you're going to press the shin back, you press the shin right here where it meets the ankle is where the shin goes back, not here. So the thigh back, and then this part of the shin. So come up, downward facing dog, come into the pose. Press your thighs back. Now the tops of the thighs. I want you to right now to move completely away from the knee and press the tops of the thighs back. And then I want you to take your awareness to the bottom of your shins, just the bottom, and press the bottom of the shin back. Do you feel the difference, Leanne? So tops of the thighs, ultimately, yes, it's the whole thigh, but I'm doing something very specific here. The tops of the thighs back, the bottom of the shins back. And yes, extend the outer heels down, lift from your outer knees to outer hips. And then bend your legs, come down, child's pose. Your child's pose is difficult, then Tadasana. Rest your head. Have your head resting, either on the floor or on a block, or blanket, or bolster, or something. Let your skull completely release. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, push to come up, lie back on your mat. We're going to extend our arms to the side for a moment. If you're against the wall and need to move a little bit further away, you can do so. Bend your legs into your chest. Extend your arms out to the sides like a T. Keep the thighs together. Keep the thighs together and take your knees towards your right elbow. Turn your abdomen to the left as the knees go to the right. Press the right shoulder down to keep the left shoulder down. You don't want the left shoulder blade to come up. So can you press into the right shoulder to keep the left shoulder blade down? Keep the thighs together. That means you have to push the bottom thigh into the top thigh. And turn your abdomen to the left as the knees go to the right. Soft face, soft jaw, soft tongue. Push with your bottom leg. Inhale, come up to center. Place your feet on the floor, square your hips and square your shoulders. Then bend your legs into your chest. Extend through the left fingertips. Keep the left extend to the right fingertips. Keep the right shoulder blade down, thighs together, and take your knees towards your left elbow. Feet next to each other. So you're not crossing the ankles, you're not crossing the feet, just feet next to each other. Abdomen turns to the right as the knees go to the left. Abdomen turns to the right as the knees go to the left. Thighs together. Press your left shoulder down to keep the right shoulder blade down. Soft face, soft tongue, soft throat. Become the observer, become the witnesser. Push with the bottom leg. Inhale, come up. Place your feet on the floor. Square your hips and square your shoulders. Take your feet together. Let your knees fall apart. Baddha Konasana. Feet together, knees apart, Baddha Konasana. Just for a moment. Just because. If this bothers your hips, you take your fists and put them under your thighs. And yeah, you can take blankets and all that stuff too, but sometimes you don't have that. So you just take your fists and put it under your thighs. Are you observing or are you waiting? All right, take your hands on the outside of your thighs. Push your legs together. Use your arms more than your groins to push your legs together. Bend your legs into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Hold around your shins or behind your knees. Use this as an opportunity to say something kind to yourself, something loving to yourself. The purpose of yoga is to still the fluctuations of the mind. But then people often don't save the next line so that you can bathe in your own true splendor. Can you take a moment and bathe in your own true splendor? Take your hands to the face of your knees. Separate your hands. Take them on the face of your knees. Inhale, keep your hands on your knees and let your legs move away from you, just 2-3 inches. Exhale, draw the legs back towards you. Pace of your breath. Inhale, let the legs move away. Hands on the face of the knees. Exhale, draw the legs towards you. So the hands don't move. Inhale, exhale. On your next inhalation, take your feet to the floor. Scoop the flesh of your buttocks towards your heels. Straighten your legs one at a time. Take your arms comfortably out to the sides, palms up if that's comfortable, or whatever is comfortable for you today. Let your legs go, let your arms go. We did a lot of work on the legs today, a lot of work on the legs. Can you let your legs surrender, let your legs release as if they are flowing away from your torso and surrendering to the Mother Earth below you? And letting your arms flow away from your torso, surrendering to the Mother Earth below you. Letting your torso completely let go, completely release and relax as it surrenders to the Mother Earth below you. Letting your skull surrender to the Mother Earth below you. All your facial features letting go. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones and release through all of your facial features. It should begin to feel as if the skin, the flesh of your face is dissolving away. Release, relax your ears, the outer ears and the inner ears, and draw the inner ears inward. And begin to listen to the breath from the inside. You don't need to breathe, the breath will breathe you. Can you surrender to the breath and allow the breath to do the work of breathing you? Just the breath. Nothing but the breath. Shavasana. Begin slowly coming out. Begin to deepen the inhalation and lengthen the exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor, knees together, feet apart, knees together, feet apart. Take your hands, place them onto your abdomen or onto your chest. We all hold incredible healing energy in our hands. Let the healing energy of your hands penetrate your body, pierce through your layers, and heal whatever it is you may need healing with today. When you feel ready, extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right. If you prefer the left side, roll to the left side. Rest your right ear into your right upper arm, or left if that's the side you chose. And then take your left hand on the floor in front of your heart, turn your torso towards the floor first, push to come up chest first, head last, come up to sitting. Bring your palms together, thumbs at your chest. Draw your eyes back and down as you turn the corners of your lips up, taking a moment to observe your practice. What's different? What's changed? Remember to take your practice with you outside of this room, into the rest of your day, into your evening, into tomorrow, with kindness and compassion. Kindness and compassion for others, and most importantly, kindness and compassion for yourself. Let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Om. Gently let your eyes open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you. Thank you, everybody.